I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, February the 16th, brought to you in part by Biozyme. Biozyme is the maker of VitaFerm minerals, Vitalize products. They've got all kinds of products, best mineral that money can buy. They have products that help cows breed back quicker, products that keep horses from colicking. They have products that even help the digestive health for your dogs. But if you want to look into all the different products that Biozyme has, visit biozyme.com. Cattle auctions closed this week for the most part, and not really a whole lot to talk about, but if you guys know me, you figure I'll probably find something to talk about. And then on top of that, we had a President's Day on Monday, so the board was closed. That would have been a great day to have some big high volume cattle sales on Monday, since you didn't have to worry about the board, and we went out with a bang last week, so we were on the positive side, but just really hardly any sales to speak of at all. Oklahoma National Stockyards not having any sales this week. OKC West, Reno not having any sales. Joplin not having any sales. Springfield, Missouri not having any sales. Just about every sale barn you can think of in the meat of the country not having any sales. I talked to one of my heroes, Ellison Carter, on Monday, and he said in 45 years he'd been in the order buying business, and he's got about as many as 50 order buyers out working all points around Central Texas and going out and beyond. He has never remembered ever a week that every single sale barn that he works or has buyers working, they were closed. And that just gives you an idea how hard it hit Texas. Now, you know, the other areas up in Kansas, Oklahoma, up in the Midwest further, they were just as bad, but it doesn't normally hit Texas that hard. San Antonio had measurable snowfall, and I saw some video and pictures where it was, I mean, just terrible slick there and just icy as it could be. All points in between, and you get down there in South Texas, they just don't know how to deal with the snow, and they don't have any treatment for the roads, and I mean it just gets slick, and that's what keeps everything from going that way. I remember a week like this back when I was up in Missouri there, and used to go to some sales that were auctioneered by world champion auctioneer Lanny Ireland. This would be one of the weeks where he'd come in the morning and tell guys, hey, spring's on its way, guys. I saw Robin driving into the sale this morning. He said he was on the high wire. He was frozen solid, but he was there. But I look forward to that every year, and he never failed me. He always brought it in. But I tell you what, with these cold temperatures, now we're seeing, even with the kind of power that we have right now, the energy that we have right now, we still got rolling blackouts all over the country. Some of your packing plants not able to be open on Monday because they couldn't depend on the power. And they've got schools closing. Schools are closed here in Texas Panhandle on Monday, not so much for the weather, but because they want to conserve energy. Now, how's this going to work when we get to Biden's green energy? You know, it's already as bad as what we're seeing, and then now we're going to work on green energy from Biden. We saw some of the reasons that they were having so many blackouts down in Central Texas. A lot of those places rely on wind energy, and whenever those wind turbines get covered up with ice, you can't run them. And some of them were froze up and not working out very good. But I tell you what, we've got to rethink this deal a little bit. You know, if you're standing on the platform of global warming right during about 10 days of the coldest weather that this country has ever seen, stretching from Canada all the way to the Gulf of Mexico and coast to coast nearly, how strong is your platform really? I don't know how many of you guys saw the Bill Gates interview on 60 Minutes. Now, you talk about a mad scientist, and he's not even a scientist. I mean, I guess you could technically call him a computer scientist, but he's no authority on global warming. He might have read a lot of books about it or whatever, but you know, I think that's where he's looking for his power, and he's behind a lot of this stuff. I tell you, those big money people, I mean, $1 million, they spill more than that digging in their pockets, guys. And so billions of dollars mean nothing to them. And these people that's got all the big money, they're the ones that are behind our new administration, pushing the agendas that we've got to push. They said on 60 Minutes that he was behind all of Biden's new energy ideas. Oh, behind him, he's the one that's come up with them. He's the one that's pushing them. Give me a break. But talking about going to zero emissions entirely. And just talking about all the things that we would have to stop doing. We basically have to cease life as we know it now. And as he's sitting at a burger shack, chowing down on a greasy burger, talking about how he's made all these investments into fake food. Of course, fake meat as a given, but also he's invested into companies that are making other forms of fake food, where you don't even have to use any plants to make them at all. I mean, it's weird. But I tell you what, you guys need to pay attention to that. I think it's kind of scary, really, if you guys really take a look at it. But I don't have anything to talk about on the board, because the board was completely closed for President's Day. Like I said, this is one of the few days that everything's going full bore, but that the board would be closed. But with all your big high volume Monday sales closed down, kind of hard to get a feel for the market. But look at the weighted average on last week's feedlot trade negotiated out of your 5-area feeding region. 62,100 head is all. And just a meager movement, especially in the southern plains. Had decent movement in Iowa and Nebraska, but southern plains, I mean, hardly anything. But look at your live sales of steers and heifers last week, 111 to 116.50, but mostly 114. That would be steady, firm in the, or fully steady, I guess, in the southern plains, and steady to buck higher in the northern plains, because they were taking 113 at a pretty high volume there the previous week. But your weighted average on live steers in your 5-area feeding region was 113.83, 20 cents higher. So even though your market was largely steady, we did see some gain there on your weighted average. On dress sales, steers and heifers sold from 178 to 185. That would be steady to $2 higher, and your weighted average there. And your market was largely 180, but we had more selling over the market than under, which is unusual. And that dress market is almost entirely in the northern plains and in the Midwest, so hooray for them. But your weighted average on dress steers was 180.10, up 84 cents. Talk about nationwide movement. 74,400 head is all negotiated. That compares to 102,500 the previous week and 69,400 the same week a year ago. But of that 74,400 head, 30% of those, or 22,400 of them, were 15 to 30 day delivery. Your packers are really wanting to do that. They're wanting to get as many cattle captured, going into this second quarter as they possibly can, because we're looking at higher markets, guys. You just look at the board, and I know we didn't have a board on Monday, but we're looking at significantly higher prices, getting well up into the 120s here in not too long. But you guys have to be willing to ask more and demand more for those cattle. What good does it do to have an opportunity to get more leverage and get higher prices on fat cattle if you don't ask and you don't try? You got to use that leverage whenever you can get it. But like I said, we had 74,400 negotiated sales, 247,000 formula sales. So that kind of pales in comparison there. Usually don't talk about box beef cutout values, but didn't have a whole lot of markets to talk about. They were just kind of steady to strong on Monday afternoon. Choice cuts 232.44, up 7. Selects 221.41, up 48 cents. Talk about what else is going on. Don't forget, here today, on Tuesday, we got the rescheduled event, the 48th annual Felton Angus Ranch production sale there out of Springdale, Montana. And you guys know that Jim Felton and I are buddies, and he's actually the founder of the Feeder Flash game. So I want to give him credit for that. But I tell you what, we support one another, and I sure support his sale. It's going to be at 2 o'clock Central or 1 o'clock Mountain Time there. But I tell you what, he's got some big athletic, rangy bulls there. I mean, working type bulls. not just all on the pedigree, guys, but I tell you what, you want to get on there and support that sale. They had such a bad blizzard when he was originally going to have that sale. They rescheduled it, but get on to dvauction.com, view and bid the Felton Angus Ranch sale here today on Tuesday. What else is going on besides that? Going to be going out later in the week again to Fallon, Nevada, to Nevada Livestock Marketing. Jack Payne's got another big special, monthly special coming up. Going to have it right at 5,000 head, if not more. Tell you what, for you guys that are having a hard time finding some of them 4 and light 5 weights, hard weaned calves, try some of these hard dried out high desert calves that they got there. And you can go online, dvauction.com, view and bid on them. We've had guys from Kansas and Oklahoma the last couple of months that's been on there and got some cattle, got them home, just loved them, haven't had any trouble with them to speak of, and they go right on. I tell you what, they come out of that real dry, arid humidity or non-humidity there, and that has a lot to do with how cattle straighten up whenever you get to working on them. But if you don't want some of them really hardy, light, dried out, hard wintered calves, don't get on that sale. But if you are looking for some, Jack said he would even hold those cattle till after all this weather passes. He'll get them out of the sale barn, get them into some lots, and give them some feed and keep them together, keep them healthy. If you guys want them, have them processed, he'll do that. You guys just pay for the medicine and everything, and he won't even charge you anything to do it. But really trying to get some what he calls Eastern buyers. It's hard for me to really to comprehend that, but he says, yeah, I'd like to get some Eastern guys involved in this sale, and he's starting to get a few of them. But I tell you what, if you just realize the value of those cattle. How about your slaughter this week? Like I told you, was rolling blackouts. Talked to a guy on Monday that sent cattle into Kansas there to a plant to have them slaughtered. Some cattle they'd bought further up north and sent them down. Plant was closed. And so they were looking for a place to hold those cattle, looking for a feedlot or some kind of a growing yard or something that had some empty pen space, which there's not many. Even talking about taking them over to the sale barn and dumping them out for a little bit till they get them in on the kill slot, because they weren't expecting to be shut down. But with the problems with the energy there and electricity, they just they were forced to do that. But only 92,000 were estimated for Monday. I don't even know if they got that done, and that's 22,000 off last week, just on the first day, and 14 down from the same week a year ago. So that's not a good start. We were looking to get back to speeding those chain speeds up again. Talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV Auction late in the day on Monday, sitting at 137.47. That was up 53 cents. So the few sales that they did have sold really well. And where were they tough enough to have sales? Where it's the absolute coldest. Up in South Dakota and places like that. They had sales when nobody else was having sales because it was too cold for them. And like I told you earlier, it was a lot to do with the roads and things like that, and even the power outages and things. But Faith, South Dakota had a sale. Faith Livestock Auction, about 4,000 head. Look at this automated market report, and I wish they'd have had one of their big sales last week, but they didn't for a comparison, so didn't really get to see that. But prices look awful good there. Look at some of your best tested weights. 624 head of 6-weight steer calves, average 645 at 152.34. 527 head of the 7-weight steers, average 742 at 142.52. And look down at the heifers, 1,043 head of 6-weight heifer calves, average 641, 141.33. Pretty good quotes out of Faith. How about Treasure Valley Livestock in Caldwell, Idaho? And I have to tell you, I was up in Caldwell, Idaho just a couple of weeks ago and really had a good time. I think it's called Indian River Steakhouse there. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, people were in having a good time. They were dancing, they were eating, they were drinking, they were enjoying each other's company. And it was just like this plague had never hit us. And I was proud to see it. I tell you what, we need something like that. They were playing Texas music, and I was thinking, well, people don't have this much fun in Texas, but Caldwell, Idaho ain't a bad place to be. But at Treasure Valley Livestock, 89 head, 820-pound steers, 137 guys out in Idaho. How about an individual quote out of Faith Livestock, Faith, South Dakota? 104 head of steers weighed 618 at 163 on an individual quote. But the best quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, and your Zactran top quote for the day, come out of Aberdeen Livestock Sales, where they had a couple thousand head of feeder cattle there. 65 head, 909-pound steers bring 137. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.